What's up, guys? Rearward here, back with another video, and today we're doing some load securement. We got Slinkies on the trailer, and yes, I do already have a Slinky video out right now. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. Put a link around here for it. But today we got Slinkies that are in a different formation, and I actually have not had Slinkies in this formation in years, literally years. We've got shotgun style today. Let's get into it. All right, guys, like I said, we got a load of shotgun Slinkies on the trailer today. And if you are not already aware of why we call them that, I'll explain it to you. And that is because they are lined up in a straight row where you can see all the way through the Slinky. Same way that you would be able to if you were looking, at a shotgun barrel. That's why it has that name. So these are pretty easy to secure, but you need to secure them in a very specific way, because if you do not, this load can come off the trailer on you and you will have a very significant problem on your hands. So first things first, I always start with the setup, any securement I'm doing. And you can see the way these are set up. I had 3 sets of dunnage, 3 sets of coil racks, so a total of 6 pieces of dunnage and a total of 9 individual coil racks, so 3 underneath each set of dunnage here. And they also give you this kind of I guess a little break. It's a piece of 2x4, but it's there to kind of hold the place of the front and the rear coil. And just like any other time when you're using coil racks, you want to have it balanced, so I evenly spaced my 3 coils on the piece of dunnage. And you always want to start with this front one here being close to the front of the piece of dunnage, not entirely in front of it, but close. That way you're bracing the very front of this and keeping it from moving forward, or at least deterring it. We're still going to put forward movement protection on this, though. I'll get to that in a bit. Busy day here. There's a whole lot of TMC guys picking this stuff up today. Usually when I'm here, I pick up Slinkies, but they are in the other formation that I was referencing from my previous video that I've done. Pick them up from that side dock right there, if you've ever been to this place out here in Wisconsin. But these are similar to shingles because you have to do 2 straps in the very front coil and 2 in the very rear. So same thing, same principle as shingles: 2 straps in the very front set, or a very front set of pallets, and 2 in the very rear. And that's where the similarities stop. All of these in between, well, yeah, all of them in between will have a single strap, but you can't just put the straps up there alone. And let me actually climb up here so I can explain this next part to you guys a little bit better. Okay, we're up top here. Make sure you got on your PPE, of course, but when you have to strap these, you can't just throw just the strap over top of the coil and then leave it be and then winch it down. If you do, your straps can very easily get pulled in between the individual coils and they'll get stuck. These metal bindings kind of help to stop that, but I don't trust that. I always go underneath the binding, as you can see. Now, what I'd always do to keep my straps from going between the wire coils, I take my coil mats and I put a coil mat underneath each strap, and that will stop it from getting sucked in between these coils here. You won't have that problem. I just try to center it on each coil, and I believe I should have enough coils to do it through the whole set. I have 10 or 11 coil mats over there, minus the ones that I have already on the load, front and back. So we're going to go ahead and light that part up. Then I think I'll do the forward and the rearward movement protection at the end of this, I think. Yeah, let's go ahead and get to it. Okay guys, I got the forward and rearward movement protection up here. You guys saw me fighting with that slightly just because it didn't want to stay up at the right angle. Now there's a couple ways that you could do it. I chose to do it with two 2-inch straps, one pulling to the left and the other pulling to the right. Some drivers will do just a single 4-inch strap pulling from the left side to the right and pull it that way. Either way works, but you want to make sure that you have the strap, whether you're using a 2-inch or a 4-inch, angled back behind the load. I have mine at like a 45-degree angle, pulling here. As you can see, like I said, I did two 2-inch straps on each side, so I have the 2-inch strap hooked on this side, going around the dunnage, pulling back over the direction that it came from, ratcheting down on the same side. And I did that with the other piece of dunnage as well. You might have to fight around with the strap a little bit more doing that. It takes a little bit longer to set up. Otherwise, you know, the strap will want to pull the dunnage one way or the other, and you'll have to hook it one way. I'm sure that probably sounded more confusing than it really is, but that's probably the reason why a lot of guys like to do just a single 4-inch strap. I just feel that this way is more secure because you have two straps pulling in opposing directions to keep the piece of dunnage right in the center of the load. And also, when you're putting that dunnage in there, you want to anchor it in the right spot. Let me see if I can actually show you guys where it is, because you don't want to just put it anywhere. I tried to put it in a divot, in a groove within the coil. So let me see if I can get it up close for you. See how I have the dunnage down in this dip, so it's actually pressing against the next coil that's right in front of this one here, the main one. It's down in that divot, giving it something to brace against so that it won't just easily slide over top of all of the other coil parts that are smooth. It's down in a divot, so it should stay put as long as there's pressure against it. And that will keep this coil from falling backwards. And we definitely don't want that. And the same thing goes for the front side. It is placed the way that it is for the same principle. You can kind of see that piece of dunnage sticking out of the top. And I just cranked down as hard as I could on those two 2-inch straps. And we'll just get a look here at the front. Always be careful when you're walking up on your trailers. Have that PPE on, of course, just in case you lose your footing. But yeah, here's the front end. The same way, and you want to try to hook your straps over the top of the lip of the coil, because if you have it on the sides, it'll just fall right down. It will serve absolutely no purpose. So we're done with that part. Yeah, there's something else I want to show you guys regarding the forward movement protection, but I'll save that to the end. But you can see I have this piece of dunnage anchored down in the groove between the two coils. It should not move, but when you do your load checks, you want to make sure that you are checking to make sure that this is not loosened up on you. So I'm going to go ahead and take my coil mats that I have sitting right there, put them underneath these coils, winch them down, and we will be just about finished. Got all of the coil mats placed, but we've run into an issue. I have more coils than I do coil mats. That's not going to stop anything though, because what I do in a situation like this, when you have no more coil mats, I set my straps up so that they are going to be pulling diagonally on the load. So not straight down. If you have them straight on like they are now, there's a potential chance that they can get pulled in between the bits of coil here when you start winching them down. So to prevent that, or at least deter that from happening, like I said, you'll go ahead and throw your strap diagonally, or winch it down diagonally. That will be a better way to say that. So say I have it pulling straight over on that side, that's where the buckle is. So when I winch it down, I want to just pull it, or place it here, set it up so that it's pulling just slightly diagonally across the coil. That way, when it winches down, it'll get tight across the coil this way, and it won't be able to get sucked in between these individual bands here. If you don't have any coil mats at all, or if you don't have enough, that's the best way to deal with it, so that you don't have to worry about your load shifting on you while you're going down the highway with this. So only thing left to do now is go ahead and winch it down. Okay, now we're finished securing this, but I want you guys to have the maximum amount of information that you possibly can when it comes to load securement, to give yourself all the options. Now you always want to brace this load with the dunnage inside, and you always want to make sure that you have 2 straps on the front coil as well as 2 straps on the rear. And make sure that you guys are putting a strap on each individual bundle of coil wire in between. You can tell where the bundle is because the band will be around it. Make sure that each one of those sections has its own strap. Everything in the center, it needs to have at least one. Now, as far as the forward movement protection goes, usually that is good enough, but there's one more thing that you can do. I don't think that you necessarily have to do it all the time, but you can also build a bulkhead if you have the spare dunnage, which I do. I carry 12 pieces of dunnage with me, and that always gives me the ability to build a bulkhead, whether I'm hauling rebar or I'm hauling slinkies like this. I'm going to go ahead and build a 4-piece bulkhead in the front of this, just as an added precaution for the forward movement protection, because keeping in mind all this holding this up is this piece of dunnage right here. Those straps on the side are just pinning it down. There's nothing else keeping it from falling forward. So I want to have something extra here just to make me feel better. You can never go wrong with too much securement, guys, or very rarely can you go wrong with that. So I'm going to go ahead and add this in here, and we will be golden after that. All right, guys, there you have it. Got the bulkhead up there, the final piece of the puzzle. Now, like I said before, I don't believe that the bulkhead is something that you have to do with these mandatory, like every single time. I do know that you need to have some sort of forward movement protection on these though. So I see most guys just rocking with the piece of dunnage. I prefer to double up on it, do the dunnage as well as the bulkhead. added precaution, just because I have seen some guys have these flip forward on them a couple of times actually. Now I don't know if it's because they used the wrong type of dunnage. Like, I believe here at TMC we use oak, so you know, if somebody might have used something softer like pine or maple, or you know, a softer wood, something like that, you know, it may not be as strong. Well, it definitely would not be as strong. But like I said, there's nothing wrong with doing a little bit extra securement. It's better to do a little bit too much than not enough, because when you're dealing with flat bedding and securement, not doing enough can have you in a whole world of trouble. It could cost you or somebody else their lives, and it's a whole bunch of problems that you do not want to deal with during your work day. So we are looking golden here. Everything looks perfect, and I'm ready to go. I've got a 6.5 hour drive to go to get to the delivery for this location. I have enough hours because I've been here for long enough for a split log, but I'm in the central time zone, so going east with this, I'm going to be losing an hour. It's going to be an hour later when I get around to where I'm going to, so I have to take that into account, and we'll see how I feel if I decide to do that or not. But hopefully you guys have learned a little bit of something new regarding how to secure this freight here. Hopefully it'll make your workday a little bit safer, a little bit easier, a little bit more stress-free, or less stressful. I'll catch you in the next one. Here at I Trucker Out. Appreciate you.